No, and the craziest thing, let's stick with the fentanyl stuff, right? And it is, you're right, a serious epidemic. And we've talked about on this program of how it is largely DEA created, and also, sort of an overreaction to the clampdown on overprescription of opioids. But a lot of people have been turning to street fentanyl. And then also the ways it is unregulated. Anyway, without getting into all that, but like the production of fentanyl is happening in the United States by Americans. The idea, the fentanyl, maybe pure fentanyl, could be coming across the border, but I guess they're just like case in point, in terms of how wrong-headed they are about this. It's like, it's not like the migrants, that, especially like the women and children, that you continue to demonize.
Right. Well, so yes, I mean, some fentanyl, of course, is being produced in Mexico, as you see kind of the ingredients are being trafficked often from China and things like that. And of course, this all plays into this kind of xenophobic stuff as well, very well.
Yeah.
But who's bringing it into the United States, right? So this is the whole thing, is that the Republican Party has been trying to argue that it's immigrants, that it's all these asylum seekers at the border that are bringing in the fentanyl. Sure. How about actually like 87% of the fentanyl that's been, found by CBP at the border has been brought in by U.S. citizens, right? Most of it is brought, right? So, what's that?
I said that part.
That part. And it's being brought in through U.S. ports of entry, not like, being encountered like kind of in the desert and things like that. I mean, migrants and asylum seekers are just trying to get asylum, right? Like that's what they're not trying to sneak in fentanyl, right? And the cartels obviously are much smarter than that, right? They're going to use U.S. citizens to try to do this instead of some migrant that can easily be encountered and found, trying to cross, right? And not only that, of course,
and they won't be able to carry that much anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
let's bring it in a car, be much easier, believe me, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Right. No, and you write often for like the Chronicle and other, and independent publications. I know you've had some critiques of the Chronicle's coverage specifically on like the idea that migrants are the only ones selling drugs. But you basically, you point out like people who are seeking asylum often will turn themselves in because they want to seek asylum. They're like, I want to go through this through the proper channels now that I'm on this side of the border. So it would make no sense for those same people to somehow all be drug mules. And to say nothing of Mateen, the fact that it would be incredibly ineffective.
Yeah, ineffective at all. That's the profit margin would suck.
Yeah. Yes. Can I remind everyone, we talked about this, of the San Jose former head of the San Jose like police union,
right?
Some blonde woman named Joanne was the one who was actually sending fentanyl in the mail, y'all.
Right, Joanne. Yeah, there's a lot of Joannes as well. She's not the only Joanne that's doing this. In fact, CBP is notorious for having officers who are very much implicated in trafficking of fentanyl. Just, I believe last year, they, caught a 10-year CBP veteran of the CBP officer, with trafficking tons of fentanyl over the years, right? I mean, this is like actually a major issue within the CBP that you don't ever hear reported about or discussed, of course, because it gets a little complicated, right? When we start talking about this stuff, right? But it's, it's in the DNA of these organizations as well. I mean, drug money is corrupting, right? I mean, didn't we learn this from the prohibition of alcohol, right?
Right, right.
It's
right.
Like,
stop people from drinking.
Right. Exactly.
No.
So, yes.
It led to the rise or strengthening of the mob. Yeah. And okay, so then we talk, on this issue, especially both of these issues, the intersection of the drug crisis and the border crisis, or, like the lack of a real immigration policy and the lack of asylum currently. Like, it's an issue where Republicans and Democrats are truly just a few shades of difference. I mean, maybe even one, maybe even just a little hair of difference.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess
true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just give me your thoughts, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but with Erica Andiola. But in terms of Biden continuing Trump's border policies and using this new app called the CBP One app, like, is there an argument to be made that because it's reduced crossings that like PR wise, it's a good thing? Or what do you make of Biden's approach?
I mean, certainly, sure. PR wise, it is a great thing for the Biden administration because, their approach to this issue, I think, has been to try to essentially make asylum seekers disappear, right? They don't want asylum seekers to be seen trying to cross the border because, of course, this is what Democrats are always being criticized for by Republicans. But the solution to this has then been to essentially try to make asylum even more difficult to try to access, right? Instead of, for example, putting more resources into having people support the processing of migrants who want to request asylum, right? To actually make it a more orderly process, a more fair process, a more transparent process. The approach is, we're going to make you guys, fill out this ridiculously long application on your phone to try to get an appointment like 3 months from now after you've already maybe traveled how many miles to escape whatever thing that you're trying to escape, which is in many cases a life-threatening situation. And in many cases, people trying to, follow you and, do bad things to you. It's so
if you're around in 3 months,
right,
if you're okay in 3 months,
right, exactly. So it's a great PR victory at the cost of the lives of migrants and asylum seekers, right? Unfortunately, who are still facing the same things that they faced before the introduction of this new app and these new kind of policies. And bear in mind that, also the other thing, right, is that the Biden administration has brought back from the dead, Trump's kind of what has been referred to as the third country ban, right? Where basically making it so that if you happen to travel through through another country before arriving to this Mexico border, so any of the Central American countries, for example, or even Mexico, and you didn't try to request asylum in that country, you're now allowed to request asylum in the U.S., right?
It's so weird.
It's totally unrealistic. Trump tried to implement this. It was shot down by several courts, and now Biden has brought it back. Actually, so
that's also being shot down by courts. The same, I believe, the same judge was like, "No, it doesn't look good on you either."
Right.
Which is, we'd have to truly change the laws if what the wish of Republicans and some Democrats is to just get rid of the right to an asylum or right to asylum.
Right. And mind you, of course, this isn't I think people often get confused. What we're talking about is even giving people the right to request asylum, right? This is all this is for, right? This isn't even promising people the ability that they will be given asylum, right? That's a whole other process. This is just giving people the opportunity to just ask for it, to go through the process, to demonstrate that they deserve asylum, right? That they have a situation that requires that,
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.